Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. The subject of the discourse today is faculty. The 5 spiritual faculties which constitute a part of the Bodhi Dhamma, the enlightenment, the requisites of enlightenment. That is, these 5 faculties are part of the enlightenment process. They lead to enlightenment. That's what is meant by that. Now, what exactly is a faculty? Indriya, that is the subject of our discussion today. And it is a profound subject and it needs a lot of attention. So I will advise every one of you to be very attentive and try to understand me. This is a very, very profound thing to understand. And if we don't understand this, we really cannot understand life. For this is not only a part of life, it governs our existence in a very, very profound way. Now, for instance, the ability to see, the ability to talk, the ability to think, these are all very profound abilities and powers, or skill, or intelligence factors, or aptitude, which are inborn. We are born with these faculties, with this inherent power, or original power. You see, we are born with that, and till we die, they are there. So, unless we understand them, because they are powers, special aptitude, special abilities with which we are equipped. And unless we understand them, we will not know how to use these faculties, how to use these special abilities or skills or aptitudes. Now the ability to talk, let us say, all of us are endowed with that. But then we make a mess of this ability of talking. So this very ability to talk, or the faculty of talking, now it can become a source of bandhana, very great bondage, and a source of spiritual impediment, nivarana. If we don't know how to talk properly, if we are, for instance, if we lie, it's an evil karma. Or if we talk about other people, carrying tales between 2 persons and creating, hell for both the persons. Or just gossiping, doing nothing, just talking, jabbering. Or being very angry and hateful and just full of hate, your words, abusive. Now, these are words, these are the abilities to talk. And yet these talks are so very, toxic, if we might say so. They are defiling the mind. And they can make life absolutely miserable here and now, as well as hereafter. Ihaloka, paraloka, dukkha. They bring all the suffering in this world as well as in the next world or future worlds. So these faculties, just an example of the ability to talk or ability to see. Now just as the negative way I have mentioned about how a wrong type of talking or speech can become a source of great misery and misfortune here and now and hereafter. Similarly, the same thing can happen in the positive. Now, if we stick to telling the truth. What are the benefits? Just as if you keep on telling lies, nobody will believe you. You just become an undependable, unreliable, dangerous human being. Nobody can depend upon you. Nobody believes you. Your life is miserable. It's a hell, and the people will avoid you wherever you are. Now, on the other hand, just the opposite. If you are a truthful person, you are the most reliant person, reliable person, most dependable person. You are the person to whom people will go for reconciling differences. There are conflicts all over the world. In our day-to-day life, it's filled with conflicts. And we need to, people who will bring about a reconciliation between conflicting individuals. So to resolve these conflicts, we need people who can reconcile, who can bring about concord amidst discord, reconciliation amidst conflicts. So, and that happens when you are a very reliable, truthful, straightforward, to the point type of individual. You talk, you see exactly what a thing is, or the facts about things, just factual. And that also imbued with a sense of responsibility. That if I tell lie, if I don't tell the truth, there will be some people will be harmed, will suffer. Why cause suffering? So the motive behind talking, being truthful is equally important. It's not enough that you are truthful, so you go and blurt out the truth in such a negative way, in such an unskillful way, that truthful speech itself hurts, itself creates problem. Because you have put it in a clumsy way, you speak the truth in a clumsy and a crude manner. So it's not enough that you are merely truthful, you are truthful with a refinement, with a sense of responsibility, that may it bring happiness in all. So with a mind imbued with metta, with loving kindness, goodwill, and with compassion, you tell the truth. Then a person of your kind is very, very powerful person, because you are equipped with a very powerful indriya, powerful faculty of reflecting truth through speech. So indriya is a part of truth. Reality which actually exists. Now truth is defined as conventional truth and ultimate truth. All of you know that. I will repeat in any case. You see, it will be helpful for the purpose of understanding the faculties. Now, truth can be conventional, man-made, and it need not reflect the ultimate nature of things. It can be just conceptual also, pure mentally created, mentally formulated thing. Now, for instance, if a person is called, now you tell a person, what's your name? And you said, Mariappa. Very good. What is that Mariappa? Well, it's a conventionally identifying, it's just some kind of identification mark. A name has been given to you just to identify you in the family, in your society, in the world as a whole. So now, but this does not mean that there is a thing called Mariappa in the ultimate sense. No. That's only a name for a person to identify the person, given by somebody, namely the parents. But what is behind Mariyappa, that is there. What is behind Mariyappa? Mariyappa is ultimately, you see, as a human being, Mariyappa, you see, means Nama Rupa. You see, the body and the mind. Any other thing associated with that, like, say, if you say, oh, there is also spirit. Mind, body, spirit, soul. Now the spirit, soul, etc. is a concept. It is a man-made idea. It doesn't actually exist. You can't identify where is that or which is that. Which is the spirit? The nose, the tongue, the leg, the head. It's only a concept of a something that is behind. But when we talk of mind, yes, mind exists and it's not a concept. And it not only exists, it is a power. It empowers the human being. Now, for instance, a person, an uneducated, absolutely nincompoop from a village who knows nothing about the world. So he is planted somewhere in the middle of a big city. Now, he can't function, he can't express himself, nor can he understand the others. So life is just plain hell for him and for others who are with him. So if you now put this chap through a process of education in a school, and he is educated, he becomes a matriculate first of all, high school graduate, and then he goes further into the college and he becomes a graduate, Pakka graduate, a bachelor of this, that and so on. Now after he becomes a graduate, he can become a teacher. You add another ed, B.Ed, he becomes a teacher. Now he was a complete foolish fellow knowing nothing, now he is a teacher. Now his mind is empowered by two things. He has acquired certain intelligence through the educational process. He had an inborn intelligence, all right, by birth, that is the faculty, manindriya. But then that has to be developed. So acquired intelligence is required, which he gets from education. So his mind is now empowered by this thing called acquired intelligence. And not only intelligence, he has acquired other things also along with that. He has acquired knowledge. He has acquired, let us say, certain spiritual, moral qualities like moral shame and moral fear. He will have moral shame to do evil or not to do good, or he will have moral fear not to do good or to do evil. So these moral shame and fear are very, very important qualities of mind. They are mental factors which make all the difference between a good or a bad man. A bad man is he who has got no moral shame, no sense of moral, integrity or moral sense of shame or fear and all that. Whereas a good man, yes, he has got that. That makes the difference between the two. So, as a moral power, manindriya also includes not only the world of mind, or mind as a source of power, but not only physical or mental power, but moral power as well. Then is also a source of spiritual power. A man who has got a sense of reverence for good things, for good people, for elders, for mother, for father, for teachers. Now such a man and an irreverent man who goes about strutting about, thinking himself to be very important, very pompous, Now such a man is a nuisance to the society, to others. He goes about throwing his weight everywhere, thinking that, oh, he's such a big fellow and very talented, good and whatnot, very egoistic. That man is a source of suffering for so many people. Whereas a man who is humbled by a sense of, being reverent, being devotional, being very loyal. So there are qualities of loyalty. The whole family life is impossible without a sense of loyalty. Loyalty between husband and wife, loyalty between brother and sister, between relatives, loyalty between human beings. Loyalty is a quality, say, a relationship between the state and the individual. So now this sense of loyalty is something that makes a person very different. And what is that sense of loyalty or reverence or devotion? That is called Saddhindriya, Saddha Indriya, the faculty of faith, where a person can become very humble, very loyal, very reverential. Now, with this quality, when it, when it is associated with the empowering faculty of mind as an faculty, and educated mind is not only mind but intelligent mind. So here the faculty also gets more and more embellished, more and more empowered by additional faculties. So Saddhindriya or Saddha, Shraddha, Indriya. The word Indriya has been defined in this way. Indrasya karmam iti indriyam. Pali, Indrasya kammang iti indriyam. That is, Indra means a ruler. You see, suppose now the divine ruler is called Indra or Sakra. Or any other human ruler also has got this appendage in his name as Indra. Say Jivendra, Rakshendra, this Indriya, Suryendriya, Chandrindriya, all kinds of Indriyas, you see, all names are added with this. Ravindra, and so like this. So that here Indra means the ruling quality or the ruler. So this Indriya, I have already mentioned as an example, the Indriya of the faculty of ability to talk or speak or communicate. Similarly, the faculty of being loyal, faculty of being devotional, humble and faithful. A faithless man is a source of great trouble to everybody in the world. A faithful person is a source of security and happiness. So here, the mind as a faculty, that is as an original source of power. In dictionary, a faculty is said to be a natural gift, a natural skill or intelligence, or a natural ability of a person, unique to an individual. That is, each person has a certain faculty which is very unique to the person. It doesn't include others or everybody. You see, it's not it doesn't talk of a whole lot of people, but each individual has a certain ability or capacity, certain skill or intelligence. Now that is called Indriya. Now it is something like, now physically we have got at least 7 such Indriyas. For instance, the ability to see, Chakkhundriya, Chakshundriya, the eye faculty, the ability of the eye to see things. the difference between a blind man and a man of sight. A sight, one who is endowed with the faculty of sight, ability to see. There is a very great difference. This blind man is completely devoid of a whole world of experience that comes from the ability to see. And life itself becomes so very burdensome when you can't see. You have to depend on so many other factors which have nothing to do with you. You have to be totally dependent, all because you don't have the faculty of seeing. Similarly, for instance, the faculty of hearing, Sotindriya, the ability to hear. You see, a person who cannot hear, you see, he has got so much of, he's a very handicapped man. As you grow old and you can't hear, and people say something and you can't hear, you have to ask again and again, hey, Jor se bol, come on, talk loudly. Now that happens with me all the time. Now our other devotees who are of course putting something in the ear, now for instance, Commander Rangaswamy, our very good devotee, somebody has given him something in the ear so he can hear very clearly. But then if you remove that, he can't hear at all, he is just stone deaf. So there are advantages and disadvantages in everything. So if you are a deaf person, my goodness, that's a very big handicap indeed, just as a blind person. Why? Because that indriya, that faculty is dysfunctional or is just not there. It's not functioning. Similarly, the ability, the special natural ability or power to smell, that's a very great ability indeed. And if we don't have this power, it can be a big handicap indeed by itself. You see, there are poisonous things, for instance, very toxic things. If you smell, you may die. Now suppose you don't have that ability to smell or identify objects or experiences through smelling. If you can't do that, what does it mean? You may die. You smell things which are toxic, which are very dangerous. Now when such a toxic material is there, you immediately run away from it, you close your nose and you say, no, I don't want to smell this. You can't even breathe if you can't smell properly. So smelling and breathing are all connected. So if you are not empowered by this faculty of smelling, that will impair your ability to breathe properly. And that means whole life again is impaired in some way or other. Similarly, the faculty of, for instance, tasting. Life for most people, they just live to eat. I should not be mistaken. I did have a time when I was also like that. But if you are equipped with this faculty of tasting, and it is also connected with wisdom, then it is a very great power indeed. You are empowered in a very big way. You eat just to live. And you live just to develop spiritually and evolve into something very great, a transformed human being who is liberated from the bondage of worldly existence. So now this kind of, you have a proper appreciation of life. You know the purpose of life, what is the meaning of life. That will come You see, when, for instance, you have some amount of, you are empowered with this understanding about taste. You just don't gobble up whatever is there right in front of you because it's very tasty and very nice and pleasant and all that. No. So this ability to eat properly and the right thing with the right measure, right quantity and right quality, that's a very great ability. Whole life depends upon that. So now this faculty is an important faculty because it empowers the mind to judge rightly, to understand things properly. So they are all interrelated. There are so many faculties are there. In fact, there are 22 faculties with which we are equipped. And if we can coordinate properly between all these different faculties or empowering agencies, then there is no limit that you can't achieve in the sense of spiritual achievement or moral achievement or intellectual achievement. Any kind of higher achievement very much depends upon this ability to coordinate between different faculties and understanding different faculties and how they can empower you or they can retard your progress. A retarded mind is a terrific, very, very handicapped, kind of disability. So we must understand the sources of abilities and disabilities. So now I have already said about Chakkhundriya, Shrotindriya, Ghanindriya, Jivindriya, Kayindriya, body. Body itself, the tactile faculty, that is sparsham, this touch. The touch sensation is so very primal and fundamental indeed. This whole mechanism of what we call the reproductive ability of human beings. Human being producing human beings, animals producing animal, reproductive. The whole thing is, that is this so-called sex life and all that, or sensual pleasures or otherwise. You see, all this whole kama, the world of sensuality or sensuous existence, the whole thing is based on this body, the bodily faculty. That is one aspect. The other aspect is the entire neurophysical, the world of nerves and all that is connected with this bodily faculty. So tactile faculty, Kayindriya. So if we have a proper understanding of this Kayindriya, and then we know how to make use of the properly, this empowerment of the mind by proper, through the right understanding of these bodily or physical indriyas, such as eye, ear, nose, tongue and body, all the five. Then manindriya, mind. Mind as a faculty itself, a very, very powerful faculty indeed. So if we understand these 6 indriyas properly, and we know how to get the best out of these indriyas, then indeed we can be the ruler of ourselves and therefore the ruler of the world. We have mentioned that indriya means indriyasa, indrasa bhavam, indrasa karmam. Indras, the function or the acts of a ruler. Indra. So, just as now, the example you must have by now understood that sight, this natural ability to see or hear or smell or taste or bodily, feelings and sensations, and mental feelings and sensations. So these indriyas, once understood, your mind gets so empowered. Manindriya, mind as an indriya, as a source of power, as a source of knowledge, wisdom, understanding. So all empowerment, the empowerment of life itself depends upon how mind is empowered. And how this mind, empowering of a mind, can be dualistic, two ways. You can empower your mind in an unwholesome way. A person who has become a tricky fellow who just cheats everybody and lives on cheating, corrupts everyone, everywhere, wherever he goes, makes some money in that way, and cheats himself and cheats the world. So now he uses his mind all right, but for a very bad purpose indeed. It hurts himself, hurts the world, and hurts both. So this manindriya can be, it is a unisex-like things. It can be both good or bad. It can be used for either wholesome activities or unwholesome activities. Most of the world, trouble in the world today, we live in a world of knowledge, where knowledge explosion can be seen everywhere. Knowledge can be empowering. Whole educational process is nothing but that. Empowerment of mind through knowledge, through knowing. Janati passati. Knows and sees, mentally sees. So this ability to mentally see and know, that's the original power. That is manindriya. And we are conscious of the world in a certain manner, exactly because of this manindriya. This world of mind, which is very, very unique to ourselves, and no two persons have the same mind. They live in two different worlds. So if there are 1 billion or odd human beings that are, which constitute the population of this great country, India, my goodness, you have more than 1 billion world within this world of India. So, understanding mind as a faculty, understanding all the physical faculties, understanding the other abilities like speech and all that, action, the ability to speak, the ability to act in a certain manner, ability to think in a certain manner. So these abilities, they are natural inborn faculties, source of power. They are basis of power. Once we understand them, how to use them, how to do that, there you are, then you become a real human being and you go upwards, always, never downwards. Otherwise a person can have a human body, but an animal mind, animal or a ghost mind. So human beings have been categorized differently. They said, Deva Manusya, a man who is like a god, divine being. Such a wonderful mind he possesses. Such a mind that is empowered in a sublime, very sublime way indeed. Then Manusya, a man who is a human man. You see, Manusyatvam, the humanness in a man. That means a benevolent man who can think of others, not only think of himself or herself, but how each person affects the others and the world. When a person is fully aware of that and therefore is very humane man, a manusattva, you see, manusya, very humane man, a benevolent man, a kind, a loving man, a friendly man, metta infused mind. So these are, to be a human being in the first instance is most important to be spiritually enlightened. Or a person can be, you see, preta manusya, like a ghost, absolutely hungry and awful. Or an animal human being, pashu manusya. You see, or a hellish man, absolutely inhuman. You see. So there you are. Once we understand how this mind can be empowered in the right way or in the wrong way, then we become a manusya, a human being who is capable of great heights of moral and spiritual development and enlightenment. With this I conclude today. May the grace of Bhagavan Buddha surround your lives with well-being, wisdom and a lot of humanism. May you all be happy and well. Sukhino bhavantu.